should be ready to go. I'm gonna adjust that. That didn't look right. That should be good.
I gotta remind myself about this dang campaign. Hold on.
What
I
could
got my
you,
notes up. I
what could
gotta
you
pull
have,
up the D&D Beyond group of it.
what could you have possibly forgotten?
Okay. Oh, I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm just getting.
I don't have anything prepared. I have my notes up on one screen, the D&D Beyond campaign link up on another. I'll answer questions as I get the answers come to my head.
Yeah,
So.
let me just get this out and post it places that people don't care about.
I might say this is less of like a podcast, more of like an interrogation.
Well, I mean,
that's what I felt like.
You can look at it that way. I'm gonna format it like a podcast. Yeah. So let's do the quick rundown. So, how do you like referring to this campaign? Do you like calling it Eve of Ruin, or do you think like, because that's like the second half?
I just refer to it as Phandelver.
Phandelver, yeah.
I think most campaigns, you typically people have more fond memories of the start, and then like the middle of the campaign gets a lot murky, and then there's like the highlight moments, and then there's the end. But the start tends to have a lot more impact because I feel like the first third of the campaign kind of solidifies your character idea in place, and it's really hard for your character to change drastically once the campaign's kind of kicked off fully, you know? Like once you've kind of done a couple missions, you've done a couple quests, you kind of got your footing in like the town or area you're in, your character kind of settles into like who they are at that point. Yeah. And then it's more of it's less of your character changing to the environment and more of your character changing the environment to them. You know, they'll avoid people who they don't match with, fight people who they don't match with, ally with people they do, but they don't really adjust on their own. Like you don't ever really have an ally become an enemy unless they betrayed you. You never really betray your allies as a character.
Well, unless they were never really an ally to begin with.
Unless they were never an ally to begin with.
Let's be honest, we did a real good job of those. We collected a lot of fake allies over Aura.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that's why I'll typically refer to the campaign as however it starts, rather than the finish.
Yeah. I have it. I'm gonna have the video titled Eve of Ruin because it's easier and quicker to spell than Phandalin was.
Fair.
But
Fair.
That's the only reason for it. I think I called the live streams for it Phandelver and Beyond. I think is what I eventually pivoted to.
Makes sense.
Once we moved to Eve of Ruin. Because
Which is funny because the original campaign is Phandelver and Below.
Yes,
so which Phandelver and Beyond.
I really like that.
Play on it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we ran 69 sessions. Whoop whoop. Let's go. I can't believe we did that. It was great because we were either gonna end on that or we were gonna end on 70, which was just gonna be like a nice number. So like it was pretty clear we were gonna hit one of those two, and I was like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So it ran for a year and a half? Not quite, maybe?
We had some like small breaks in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, a little over a year and a half.
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
Started in December.
Yeah.
Of 23.
That was a God. I mean, yes. Yeah, that would be how that works, huh? That feels insane. Are you ready to be Dylan? Are you ready to be locked in with this monster for 5 years? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, so 69 sessions we played. So 5 in the main party, 6 in the main party. 1, 2, 3,
well, there was
5 in the
Spaetha, Trabram, and it started with Muriel and Ralph.
Yeah, and then Carson. So it was always 5 players. It was just who those 5 were. So six of us counting you as a DM, 7 counting me, counting Star for the early half, Vinny for the later half. Phew, I mean, oh boy, mileage we got out of that group. Why did you pick? What? Because we'll start here. Why did you pick us, the original 5? What was the mindset behind your player choices?
So I was coming out of doing Dungeon of the Mad Mage, which was like a very heavy combat one. And certain players weren't available for the next one at the time due to various school things. Like I think Marcus had he was finishing senior year of school and stuff like that, so he didn't really have time and stuff. So I had some open slots, and I know I had Dylan play a couple guest times in Mad Mage, which was fun. And I hadn't gotten to campaign D&D run a campaign for him. And it's always fun for me to get the chance to give people who are typically DMs the chance to be players, because I feel like not often do other people that play D&D with them give them those opportunities. So it's always fun to kind of be like, hey, I know you're DM, but here you get to be a player this time. And usually DMs will kind of jump at that opportunity. So that was kind of my reason for bringing Dylan in. And then you kind of came with Dylan because I
package deal.
Yeah, package deal. Well, I had seen you're also also you DM, you're consistent, and you put a lot of effort into your characters, which is a really big thing that I like to look for in my players. So that was kind of the inspiration for you two. Josh was a similar one, but with less experience, where he has only DM'd.
Yeah.
He learned D&D from the perspective of, I want to play D&D with my friends. Nobody else is going to be a DM, so I'll learn how to play D&D and also DM at the same time. And has formed a absolutely fantastic world, I want to say. I joined in as a player on his game in the second campaign that he's running the world. And so I joined midway through, and I will say it's funny because normally, as you two as DMs also would know, when you have a player join who has a lot of experience, typically they can't really shake how you design combats and conflicts and stuff because you have a lot of experience in designing those. But they can typically change your party dynamic a lot because they'll bring things to the table that the other players maybe didn't think about depending on how much experience they have. I didn't have that much when I joined Josh's, but I did have a lot of things where he had to rethink how he designed encounters and conflicts, because a lot of his players were this was their first time playing D&D as players. So he had this whole group, antagonistic group, right, of basically based around the sins in his world that he has as the antagonizers. But the problem is that because of how his world formed and everything, they're all undead.
Mm-hmm.
I joined as a cleric, and in the first combat we ran, I used turn undead, and I pushed. It was in a train cart, and I pushed his sin group to the edges of the wall because that's the closest they could get to me. And he was like, I need to rethink how I design encounters around your character because I'm not used to dealing with a cleric who knows what they're doing. So it was cool because knowing that he was a DM, a longtime DM, and that's the only way he'd gotten to play the game, I was like, I want to give him the most stereotypical D&D player experience first time, where it always feels like you're not entirely in control of your character. And as you two know, I ran Spatha through the gauntlet in this campaign.
Good.
In terms of things happening.
Good.
So he got to get the full experience of that. So that was the reason why I brought him in. And then I brought Tim in also alongside him from his campaign, because I thought Tim was he was a cool person to have alongside Josh, because they're really, really close friends. They've been close friends for a while. So it's similar to the vibe that you two would have, where it's in a campaign, I know you two will work together really well and bounce off each other really well.
Except this next one, I'm gonna make his life a living hell for no reason.
And then originally I'd brought Ivy in from Mad Mage because she didn't get to play the first half of Mad Mage. She kind of came in midway through and took over. So I wanted to give her the chance to be a full player. Obviously it turned out that she played the first half of this one. So all in all, between the two, she got one full campaign. But that was kind of the reason why I invited her, is because I thought she did a good job with character design and everything. And I just didn't give her the chance to play a full campaign. So I was like, oh, I want to give you another chance to play. So that was kind of the motivation for the original 5.
And then we stole it, and we went, well, we need somebody new. Who do we, if we're gonna, well, I think we said, if we have somebody, we'll bring somebody in. If not, we'll just run 4. Oh my god, I could not imagine running the end half of Eve of Ruin with 4 people. Holy shit, would that have been rough.
Yeah.
I mean,
we probably needed a sixth person at some point.
Sometimes we did have a sixth person. But what we said, Vinny, you're not doing anything. Dylan's campaigns ended. All my shit's on hold, or in fucking transit. You aren't running your campaign yet. You aren't running your campaign. Load's gonna him run your campaign, Vinny. And so we were just like, yeah. And what helped was that out of everybody, he was actually following the VODs of the campaign the whole way through. So like he loosely knew what was going on earlier. I don't know if that actually helped him at all. But yeah, I mean,
I don't know. But yeah, and like I said, like typically, and it's the same thing for like my upcoming campaign. Typically, when I have groups that have players, drop in and out, and obviously with this next one taking like significantly more time, like I expect people are gonna fluctuate in and out of the group as things happen, right? So it's typically I just kind of leave it to the group where I'm like, hey, if someone in the group has a suggestion, the group's cool with it, I'm down to invite whoever in to take the places of. It's just I want to make sure I don't ever want to be the one to recommend a player, because I feel like it's more natural for the group to recommend a player because they'll work alongside them easily, and I don't have to worry about like introductions and all that.
Yeah. I mean, Vinny was a great pull in my opinion because, in terms of player, he has very little flaws as a player. I'll gas him up in that regard. We play with some people who I think are great in the groups they play in, but it feels very difficult sometimes to be like, yeah, we'll pull you out and you'll work great with strangers, with people you kind of know. Vinny's not like that. Vinny fucking, you can give him whatever and he'll make it work. I also think he legitimately plays just random tabletop with random people. So like he has that ability to do that. No, I was really excited for this. I mean, Dylan and I are odd cases of DMs where, like you said, it's like a lot of times you're like, oh, we have to, like DMs don't often get to play. We're an odd pair of two DMs who DM for each other quite frequently. But this would have been the cool thing about this was a chance for the two of us to play together, which outside of like, no, I think outside of like Mike's one shot at that point.
First time,
yeah. Getting Mike Taylor to DM for the first time ever. As for a one shot, Dylan and I had never actually gotten to play together in a long term setting. We do now. It's funny that this started and then Vinny's campaign started, and Dylan and I went, "What's our dynamic?" And we went, two fucking guys, and I went bugbear, and I went bugbear, and then this campaign looped around to be a bugbear again. It was really funny how we locked ourselves into that dynamic twice.
That is good. That is good.
Why Fandelver?
So coming from like older editions of D&D was like what I first got into, which is like 3rd and 3.5 mostly. Fandelver is kind of like a well-known setting, like definitely like an intro campaign type thing. So it was really cool to see them take what is long-standing, like a lot of people regard as like a very good intro campaign for new players, and to kind of expand upon that. Now, obviously, I did a lot of homebrew mix-in because the Fandelver and Below as written campaign gets a lot of flack for the add-on part of it not really making sense with pacing or with like how it ties together between the different arcs or different like places that you'll go. But it was a cool idea that I thought they did that I wanted to kind of like use as a jumping off point for my campaign, where I was like, oh, this is cool. They took a very, very solid first half, but short campaign, expanded upon it. Obviously there was flaws with it, but I see the vision and I can kind of like work with that really well. So that was kind of like mostly it. It was just kind of like, oh, Fandelver's back. I want to get to run Fandelver because I haven't run Fandelver in this edition ever. So...
And then what made you, when in the campaign did you decide you were gonna do Eve of Ruin on the tag-in on it?
So I knew that I like running campaigns that go all the way to level 20 because, again, I don't feel like players ever get the chance to live that fantasy, mostly because DMs typically aren't psychotic enough to expose themselves to having players get up to that high of a level, because balancing for it is a nightmare. Like, how do you control people that can do 3 different things on a turn, or a fighter who can dish out 6 attacks that deal a total of 300 damage in one round? How do you deal with that, you know? But I always like to do it because I'm like, listen, like when you guys get to the end, like just beat the shit out of my monsters and it'll just be fun, right? Like just live your power fantasy you don't get to live in other campaigns. But obviously Fendover and Below only goes to level 13. I could stretch it to 14. I can't stretch 6 extra levels out of it after that. That's a lot of content that I have to come up with completely on my own. And then announcement came out about them doing the Vecna Eve of Ruin book. And I was like, I think the timeline for when this book is going to come out is going to line up with when my campaign ends. And it did. I had like an overlap of like 2 months where the book came out 2 months before you guys were getting to like the end section of the obelisk part. So I was like, oh, this works really well. So then, yeah, I just basically tied it in where I was like, oh, well, it makes sense. Like, the start of the Vecna Eve of Ruin book is literally as written. The big 3 look for an answer to Vecna as they discover like what he's trying to do, and they cast the wish spell, and it summons the players.
Mm-hmm.
And the players are supposed to be roughly level 14, like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that range when they get summoned. And I was like, oh, well, if reality just sees my group beat a lich, it would make sense that reality would think, oh, you need to beat another lich? Here you go. You know, just give them the people who just did it.
It's insane that lines up so well. It also lined up so well thematically as a send-off for you of being like, I'm done with Forgotten Realms. I'm done with book content. I'm moving into homebrew. Yeah. Eve of Ruin is like a perfect send-off of like, here is everything you could ever want to do.
Because it's all the famous figures that you can fit into
most of them. We could talk about that again later, but I love the stuff you were telling us about how they fucking screw up Dragonlance.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's like, well, like I said, like where they didn't include the figures, I would make sure to include them because I'm like, that's the point of the whole part. You're doing a one final like run through the realms and you're showing off all the major figures and you're having your players, oh, it's this iconic person, it's this iconic place, it's this iconic thing, you know? So yeah, it is very much like a really good send-off. It's actually funny too because of the fact that like the Lich thing, Zastam is not the planned villain for Obelisk. Yeah. That was my own intention. It's not even supposed to be a Lich at all. It's just Mind Flayers. And I was like, we've done the Mind Flayer thing as the ultimate threat too many times.
We all just played Baldur's Gate 3. We're good.
Let's do something. I get why they did it because it worked really well for Baldur's Gate 3 and they wanted to keep it fresh and coast off momentum, but I'm like, let's do something else. So that it was like Lich, and I was like, oh my god, the next book is about Vecna, who's also a Lich. Oh my god, this lines up perfectly. So, but yeah, no, it was a very fun like final campaign in my world, in the Forgotten Realms before I go to my world.
I was just thinking, stars align for you because Baldur's Gate 3 into Lost Realms remake, in the D&D movie, to give you to put Zastam back in focal point. But it just fucking everything came out of the woodwork for you to like structurally make everything so focal and cool about D&D again. I can't imagine. I can't imagine being Jake. I can't imagine being Josh. And this being his first player campaign and getting to run all the gambits, just fucking everything as the fighter.
Yeah. And he's reached out to me and said that like we do this thing now where between my campaign and his campaign while Fandelver was going, where I would do something that's like a unique spin on like rules or like some specific feature or something that then he would take inspiration from and use in his campaign and vice versa, and we'd kind of go back and forth. So I think it's been really cool to kind of see how he takes his perspective as a player and utilizes that to make his DMing better. It's been really cool to like see both that part, like me DMing for him as the player and then me playing in his campaign and seeing how he incorporates kind of what he's grown to learn.
Well, I know Dylan and I now we just do the MVP vote now. It's fun.
It's fun. Yeah. No, it was a great addition. It was a great addition. I got to do it with my because I just kicked off the next campaign with the first group, with group 2 in my new world, and I just got to do that with them, and I forgot that it was completely new to them because they were like, other than one of them, because they were like, so like, what does winning MVP get you?
and
I was like, oh right, these guys don't know.
And Haley's sitting there like, you have no idea what he's going to put us through. He's like, I've seen the other side of this, where they've been tortured for 69 sessions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that it's like it's always fun.
The purpose of the MVP vote, though, when we initially like came up with it, was like, all right, like we have to actually think about like not only what did my character do during the session, but what did everyone else do? It was kind of like a quick reflection, because I feel like sometimes people get so focused on how much progress did my character make instead of like how much progress did your character make.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the person who won my MVP vote was because they asked the question that led to a hangover or a cliffhanger. That's why they won the MVP, because they asked the question that was cliffhanged. So
there were lots of fun moments where, like, as players voting, you had to be like, okay, what weights more here? The person who pulled the RP work in the episode, or the person who one round of Kraken real quick for the party and saved like 17 civilian. Like you would weigh a lot of, and then there were sessions where you were like, fuck, we didn't do anything this week, dude. Who do we give it to? We're like, who said anything this week? Fucking All D, give it to All D, dude. It's been a while. He can have it.
Yeah, it's definitely when you get a session with combat in it, it tends to kind of like sometimes streamline that MVP vote, where people immediately gravitate towards how'd the combat go and who had the big moment. But when you don't have a combat in a session, people take a lot more time, like Dylan was saying, people take a lot more time to think like, yeah, what did people do? Like, I know my character did this, but like, what did that person's character do?
It makes you have to pay attention.
Yeah. No, definitely. So yeah, and I think it was cool too as well doing it in mine, because I was curious to see how often one would get picked over the other, and it felt like over the course of the entire campaign there was a pretty good balance between like picking inspiration and lore. It was very much like it very much became like a group decision of like, okay guys, I won the MVP vote, but like, what do we want?
Yeah.
Well, you always ask the room, and then usually the room goes, what do you want? And you go, okay, well, you're gonna give me the chance to get juicy lore. Oh, and it was also very much a matter of like, oh, we're walking in the Strahd for the second time next week with 0 group inspo? Oh, are you sure we want to run this one back again? I would have to go look. I'd be so curious how often those group inspo rolls that we took really mattered. They always felt like they did. A lot of the time when the roll was when the roll actually like re-rolled well. But like I think taking inspo and then having a bad roll in the re-roll doesn't mean it was bad. It just means you didn't get what was gonna, like, it was bound to happen. You're stuck. Sometimes the dice decide that the dice just decide things have to go a certain way. Like the fucking end of the campaign, dude. Oh my god, Payneless, if there is one thing that I think is truly miraculous that comes from playing with Dylan, it is that somehow in every campaign that he is a fucking cleric, in it, fucking anything that has like a role that like matters, the dice just to fucking deliver with him. I think I've only ever seen divine intervention work in a campaign with this fucker. Outside of it, like, people don't get, like, it never rolls right, but it just always does when he's present. And then Vinny rolls the only dice physically possible to do what he needs to do at the end of the session and make the saves he has to make to have a functioning turn. That's fucking beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I know so there's a lot of directions we can take this. I know Dylan has a laundry list of things he wants to ask, but I guess we'll give you a small reprieve quick. Hey Dylan, what the fuck was Ralph the Bear? I want to pick your brain a little bit. What the fuck was Ralph the Bear?
It's funny because the character originally, I was like, man, I really want to play a druid, and I was like, guys, I was in the one Discord with like the people around the area, friends around the area,
Yeah.
and we were all talking, and we mostly jokes, right? And I'm like, oh, I want to play a druid, so I started looking up like animals that druids could turn into, and I was like, oh man, like bears, they could turn into bears. That's so cool. And they're like, and I think Tanner said. He was like, what if you were a bear who gets turned back into a human?
Which
And I was like, wait.
So I found this out literally last week in Payneless. Dylan has never seen the movie Brother Bear.
Nope.
Which is almost assuredly where Tanner got this from, because Tanner and Jordan are perhaps the two biggest fans of Brother Bear I've ever seen. So like we were sitting at his house deciding what to watch, and they jokingly were like, we should watch Brother Bear, and Dylan's like, I've never seen it. I went, I'm sorry, Mr. Ralph the Bear hasn't seen Brother Bear? I'm like, that's literally your story. Kind of.
That is funny. That is awesome.
But yeah, so that's how it was kind of like the inspiration started, and I was kind of like talking with Payneless, and I was like, hey, here's like my backstory. I'm like, I'm sure you're not going to use any of this, but like, here it is. And when he ended up using it, he also specifically told me when I was making it, yeah, I'm not using that. Like the whole thing about like Jen, he's like, that's stupid. He literally said, that's stupid. I'm not doing that.
I remember this conversation.
I was like my feelings are like only slightly hurt, but I was like, I'm not too mad about it. Like, all right, fine. And then he pulls it out, and I remember messaging. I was like, what the fuck is your problem?
Yeah, the moment that I hit him with the Janet in session, he was like, I thought you weren't using this. I thought this was all a joke.
Complete curveball. Because at the beginning it was like a joke. Like it was meant to be like funny, stupid. Like why do I care about this? Like why? Like if anyone was in the party, they'd be like, no, like we're not gonna go fight Janet. Like no one cares about Janet. And then it ended up being somewhat important, which was pretty crazy. But it was based off of like jokes we were throwing around the Discord, and I was like, wait, this actually is like an awesome idea. I could totally run with this.
Mm-hmm.
What I really like about that is for you to be like, yeah, no one was ever gonna take it seriously, and I locked in right away, and I went, no, Dean's gonna take you seriously, which I think that is one of the strongest elements to the beginning of the campaign, is that Aldine and Ralph and Spatha and Trebram, by some magical means, again, player dynamic more so is how it works, I think really wound up bouncing off each other so well that, like, just because Tim and Josh, like, their dynamic's great, and somehow you take two completely unrelated characters, and they click so well in the dynamic, too. And obviously, you and I had planned to do stuff with Ralph and Aldine. Like, we tied right away that we were gonna have met. But everything that came out of, like, interaction was just you and I shooting, like, off the hip, like, from the hip. We had, like, it's not like we sat down and talked and we're like, okay, they're gonna be like this together. Not really. We gave each other loose, like, ideas of how we act and, like, things we would know, and then you let the dynamic flow as players.
Yeah, and I also thought from a DM perspective, it was important because when he handed me the backstory, I did read it. I did think it was stupid, but I was like, I'm not gonna throw it away. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be able to use something out of this, but I'm not gonna I'm like, but knowing that this was formed from a joke, I could tell by reading it. I was like, I'm not gonna tell Dylan that I'm gonna use it. I'm not gonna give him the satisfaction making him think that he wrote something worthwhile. I'm just gonna surprise him with it. So I was like, okay, there's two things that I need to make to like really solidify this backstory, not to him, but to the other players in the campaign enough that they don't think it's a joke. Which is one, I need to have other characters in the setting that have also come under the curse.
Yep.
Which you guys found. And then I needed to have something happen with Janet that extends outside of just Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got those two things in place, then I was like, now I can just let it sit and let Dylan try to explore it as Ralph and just see if he comes up with something.
Yeah, while we're on the topic,
I was gonna
one of the
say.
questions is like, can you explain the evolution of Janet? So like, it was originally like, no, that's stupid, but also I'm gonna use it, and then it to me,
Yeah. So
from Ralph, well, go ahead, but like from Ralph's perspective, it felt like it almost like the interpretation of Janet. I don't know if it was always the same from the beginning, or it felt like it maybe evolved into something bigger.
it did. There was so I want to ask you if you can remember a specific circumstance, because Janet was originally one thing and was absorbed into another thing. Do you have an idea of when that changed or when that occurred?
Was it after Wave Echo?
It was a bit after Wave Echo.
Oh, there was another event. I thought it was Wave Echo because that's when he first spoke to Janet on the Forge.
So yeah, at that point, it was still a Fae.
Yeah.
It was still genuinely Janet as a Fae at that point.
And I know by the time, so I know that, again, the middle is murky, but I do know that there was some stuff that happened, and then I do remember vividly the Never Death Graveyard was like an incident with that, but that was
definitely
like
before.
Before that.
Definitely before.
So the moment it occurred was when Aldine died to the Mind.
It's gonna be my guess. Was gonna be Talhund.
There was a
Gibbet Crossing.
Sort of like that was like the moment that I started to tie in my new campaign and the important figures in it into this one. Which is basically what happened is Aldine died, but because of the overwhelming amount of like basically fate that your guys' journey was supposed to be on, somebody who observes that from my world caught interest in this moment that shouldn't have happening. Because let's face it, Aldine did something that was very not like him.
Yep.
Like to the point where it's like, I don't know if you've seen Steins Gate, but it's like the idea of like when you shift the world line you're on so hard with one action that you end up in a different world. That's like what happened, and that shift caught interest of Fade. Fade is the one that became Janet.
Now, when you say Fade, what does that mean?
So she used Janet as an anchor, similar to how Tiamat was going to use Spatha as an anchor, his soul as an anchor way later in the campaign. She used Janet as an anchor to pull herself to your world. But obviously in that, yeah, because that's something about Fade. She's like multiple creature type. She's many things.
Yeah, what was Janet originally? Was it just some powerful Fae being?
Just an Archfey.
Just an Archfey with a disdain for Ralph.
No, not even a disdain for Ralph. She did what she did to Ralph the same reason why she did it to other people, is because she was hoping that by giving these animals of the forest that care about the forest the means in which to interact with like society, they could find a way to stop what was happening on the coastline that would jeopardize the whole forest.
Trying to find. Because you said it. I'm
trying. There wasn't a specific reason why she chose Ralph the bear. She just chose animals freely, and we just met other
ones. Yeah,
and just hoped that one of them would be the one to help.
It could have been the fox guy.
Yeah, like she was just shooting at a target and hoping that one would land.
Yeah.
It's really funny you say the Aldine death moment and you describe it the way you do, because you're 100% right. Because nobody in the party, unless they were actively staring at my character sheet, which I don't think anyone ever does. I don't think anyone ever pulls up other people's character sheets and just glosses over all of it constantly and like watches to see if anything changes. I update things on the background tab of my character sheet. Because I like playing with the ideals, the bonds, the flaws stuff. I like I like having a baseline of those and then playing into them. And early on, one of Aldine's things was that he expected himself to die. Like, he had all expectation that in every situation he would ever walk into, the probability that he would die would be really high. But, and I did this with Aldine, all of his traits like he had a belief, and then he had like a reservation about it, that would like kind of push back a bit against it. And the reservation to that was, despite believing that, he would do whatever it would take to not die in situations. So like,
yeah,
the first thing that I think that showed was in Cragmaw, where when we because that was the keep, I believe.
Yeah.
When we were at the keep, Aldine went in, and then when stuff started looking really bad for the group, Aldine was kind of far away, like doing what he does, taking pot shots. But at any point in time, if like everybody, like if Ralph were to have died and there was nothing he could have done, and everybody else was really close to dying, in my head as a player, I went, Aldine would have ran. There's no reason to stay. Like he's not a person. He was not a person at that point in the campaign who would have stayed and fought and tried to turn it around. And then you have Gibbet Crossing, where he decides absolutely nothing has gone wrong. The fight has just started. Fuck that Mind Flayer, and he charges in. It's 100% not how he thinks or like how his mind works. But like he's with this group, he's been with that group, and his brain just starts going, okay, let's run through the motions of what we usually do. What do I have that I can do? And I've explained this before. The thought process was, well, maybe the Mind Flayer is controlling half of the enemies in the hallway. If I can break the concentration on it, you get 2 more elf archers on her side, the fight turns, and you do good. And he's like, the only way I can do enough damage to this thing is if I sneak in, get him with the poison dagger, and we good. And that does not happen at all. It's the plan crumbles upon immediate execution. But it's so funny because that is a pivotal turning point. Like, that is a accumulation of, like, all the party dynamic and interaction with Aldine changing, like, giving him enough confidence to do something really dumb. And then really, really just pivoting his character hard on how, like, he views himself and he views the party. Because I don't think he does anything quite that dumb ever again. No. He gets to execute that exact maneuver again in Gibbet Crossing. No, in the crypt in Talhund.
Yes. Yes.
Where he gets to do that again with the older guy, where like they 1v1 in a room and it actually goes well for him for once. But I don't think ever again, unless Dylan remembers something from later in the campaign.
Hold on, not later, but earlier. I was just about to say. So it's. I do agree that I don't know if it's necessarily like, because like obviously you and Aldine are the same, one and the same in a sense, but like it definitely was like an overconfidence and overreach in Gibbet's Crossing with what was the name of that Mind Flayer? It was
Quambraxel.
Quambraxel. It was definitely like an overreach, an overstep, and it only happened one other time, but it was way earlier in the campaign. It was after we beat the shit out of Glasgow or whatever his name was, and we went to Cragmaw Castle. Do you remember? Or the Keep? Yeah. Do you remember how you like were like way ahead of all of us, and you like opened a door and
yes,
half the enemies
yes,
right there. Like,
well, and so
people were just standing on the other side of the door.
Aldine opened the door, saw the enemies, and literally, I'm pretty sure turned to the group and just said, "Run."
Yeah,
like,
and so
like, I'll just die, but none of you need to die. Just go.
Yes, and so that was the character point where that's that element in his mind at that point where he's like, I'm way out of my element doing any of this with any of you. If I'm in a bad spot, fucking go. Don't die to do this.
It was the 2 differences between the overreach was the first one was he wasn't it wasn't an overconfidence thing. He just wasn't aware of the consequences of his actions. And the second one was, I believe that I can do this and it'll fix everything. So I'm going to try. Oh god, it went horribly wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. But I do know that the Quambraxel fight was the first time, like when we're playing, it's like, oh yeah, go ahead, do your turn, like, oh, have fun. But I remember the Quambraxel fight when Sean's character died was the first time I was like, okay, we're all gonna do exactly what I say and not anything other than exactly what I say.
Hey, for what it's worth, the party locked, that might be one of my favorite sessions because you guys like wake up and lock in for the entire rest of that fight, and I just get to sit there going, like I get to sit and stew with the consequences of my. I think that session still has webcam up, and the whole session I'm like, shouldn't have done that. That was dumb.
I do remember that was the first time that I literally like it's like the joke where like you're sitting back. That was the first time I sat up. Like, I was like, all right, okay, this is what we're doing.
And it was such an iconic way for the moment to happen too, because none of you had visual on him. You just knew where he went, and then
you hear it.
Just heard the crack of the skull, and that was all he heard. And so, you know, obviously I'm describing that you died, but in character they have like a very small chance, and Trayvon was just like, Aldine? Just nothing. And then Dylan's like, okay, guys, we need to focus.
And it's so good because going Aldine and getting no response is not uncommon. That's again, like it's hard to do the role play for it, but you have to keep in mind that 80%, like especially earlier, I think later in the campaign this had changed, but for 80% of early campaign, Aldine is not visible to the party while fighting. Because he's just in the darkness as a Gloomstalker. He's just gone. So you know he's there by the presence of arrows flying and the occasional him yelling at you for doing something dumb, only for it to come around. I think I like to think back of like what are like the moments that are the scariest of the campaign. Obviously, that is like, I think that is moment. I'm trying to think order. That happens before or after, God, I can't think of his name. When is Ruxicid before or after Quambraxel?
Ruxicid was before.
Before, yeah.
Okay.
You hadn't fought any of the Mind Flayers before that.
So
Ruxicid, when you rescued the prisoners, they were the ones who kind of initially gave you the clue to go to Gibbet Crossing next.
So, like, in my mind, I think the first scary moment of the campaign is Trebomor suffocating under rubble in...
Yeah, when you guys were fighting Glassstaff and he turned into a Drider and the ceiling had collapsed before.
Yeah, because I think that lines up or does Cryo Vein line up before that?
You guys did Glassstaff first.
I thought so. Yeah, so like I think that's the first moment where anybody in the party ever like comes close to a really bad situation. Is rubble falls on Trebrum. The only person in the room who's there to help him is Spatha, and you have no way to guarantee he's going to do that.
Yeah.
Crazy how often...
It's definitely also like an impactful one, because I feel like moments against you guys that were not combat deaths directly, like not like you guys getting hit for damage, but it's like some other reason why they're in a really bad spot, were always like the more dire situations.
Oh, yeah. We definitely ran into them a lot more than we did the combat ones.
Yes. Well, one of my questions that I wrote to Sean was that kind of relates to this, is that there are times that you genuinely thought were going to be TPK'd, and one that I thought back to was that stupid bridge with the wind things that kept pushing us. I literally looked at that, and when you brought that up, I was like, oh, it's still there even after we crossed it once. I go, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're gonna die to wind.
And the funniest thing about it to me was that I cleared that relatively easily, and then had to sit there and watch as I go, are we gonna get through that? And only for us to choose, as we always do, the dumbest set of decisions on how to attempt to cross. Vinny started cooking with tie and ropes. I'm like, no, you gotta do something. This doesn't.
Like, that was generally one of the, like, that tomb itself, I was like, we're not even gonna die to enemies. We're gonna die to, like, the wall.
And that's the point of it.
I think I went into it and I was like, okay, I think they're going to do pretty well in this tomb overall, but there's definitely going to be one room that gets them. And then when Spatha and Vinny went to the wave room and they just got hit by like 90 points of cold damage by that wave, I was like, never mind. I don't trust them in any room for this entire thing. I was like, they're going to fucking die.
And then they almost did it again. They came back to the rave room and almost did the exact same thing again. No,
was also funny watching you guys go back and forth between the open ocean and the hallway of like your greatest fears.
To be fair, though, like you totally could have gotten that we would have done that because back when Ralph was with the group and we were in the dwarf mine or whatever, the dwarven thing, and we kept punching the thunder door. Like
that, Aldine had like physical shakes and flashbacks in that tomb to that other tomb. It was parallel to him where it was like, we're punching doors we shouldn't be punching. We're digging at walls to get around obstacles that are gonna lead us nowhere. Yeah, but I mean, I think that is a good question. What were moments to you as a DM where you were legitimately like, oh, this is looking TPK?
So a couple of moments that I think you guys were closer to than maybe you realize, because the moments you're going to realize is when somebody takes a lot of damage or somebody's trapped or somebody's stuck, and then it's kind of like cascading where the threat's still there and somebody can't move. But the ones that were like teetering on the edge, but you guys didn't experience because of the way that like a certain roll went or something, is like the cryo vein fight.
Yep.
If based on how you guys ran that dialogue and the fact that the other group was like more willing to listen, you guys could have been fighting the dragon and the other group.
I mean,
I've been sandwiched between the two.
I felt like I was the only person actively scared that that was gonna go bad. Like, we're sitting there, we're fighting this dragon, and we got to the end of that. I was gonna say, this was the next one, like, chronologically in my head after, after Ceiling Falls, Ruxathid. I want to talk about Ruxathid, but, like, this one, Cryovane, like, we do the climb, the cold exhaustion wears on the party, you fight a dragon, your resources are spent, an entirely healthy party walks up, and everybody's like, we can fucking take him. I'm like, why? Why do you think you can do that? And for what it's worth,
there for that session either.
I couldn't do that session.
And what was
won MVP?
What was crazy? What was crazy about it was, if things lined up really well, and it was, Peyton, I think you're dead on. I don't think we would have been so confident if things didn't look like they were going in our favor, because like the way that Liam and Zaya walked into the fight allowed us to like get them in like a corner where they had to fight through a bunch of AoE effects.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, well, they're kind of beat up. We have an upper hand here. And I'm like, you still got a whole guy who hasn't shown up yet, and I think he's the scariest one of them.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and he seems like he's just watching from downstairs.
Yeah. The other one that strikes me as like close is the fact that you guys are actually extremely lucky that Spatha got locked up in prison.
Oh my god.
Because otherwise, if he didn't go to prison over that, he would have been in the room, staying in the same rooms with you guys. You would have all been attacked at night by revenants. 12 That's fucking revenants, each of them with 190 HP, all of them getting surprise attacks on you.
Fair enough.
Man, talk about a moment that I think talk about that first tomb. There is, I think, no session. Vinny watched that session back, and he went, Sean, are you okay? And I went, no. Do I sound okay? Do I look okay? Does anything that has happened in this tomb make it seem like Aldine's okay? He's standing there over a party going, please do not take anything from this holy tomb to a good-aligned deity. That's all I'm asking of you. The only thing we should take is the thing corrupting it. And everybody goes, but what if? There's a big old juicy crown sitting here. A crown that has the most do not touch or energy I've ever seen. Oh.
Yeah.
I think the Ruxathid fight was very scary. Cause Spatha was constantly down. He was constantly getting brought. I think that is the closest fight we ever got to someone dying from exhaustion.
Hitting the early game fighter with Phantasmal Killer.
Oh,
is brutal. Yeah.
Yeah, and like everything about that fight was just like we were that I think was the first fight outside of Cryovane that felt really close, where it was like, oh, a couple more bad rolls and we're done.
Yeah.
And then we had a really long string of not having to worry about that. Uh, I feel like we went from like after the Quambraxel death. Oh well, there was the other Mind Flayer fight. That one was rough because that's where
Yeah,
Space
the double
double
was a double Mind Flayer fight at the start of Olithanok.
yeah, that fight man, I don't know. There's sometimes you look back and I go, I don't know what we should have done. Uh, I don't know how we were supposed to play.
We kept failing int saves and we were just all standing around.
Everybody was stunned.
Oh yeah, no.
So this is actually, I think Olithanok was actually designed pretty well because I think the solutions that the book poses for the players are actually pretty ingenuous or like pretty like creatively like genuine.
Yeah.
Like they're pretty unique and they're not something that normal players are going to think of. One of the things you could do is if you all, because you know how like initially they asked you to go drink from this bath, right?
Yeah.
I want you to know the bath doesn't harm you at all. Actually,
that's good.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
But it definitely gives off the impression like, oh, if we drink from this, like that's the end, right? We have to do something before we drink from this. But what you can do is if you all agree to go in, you go into the closet. One of you can lock the door and just shit on the one Mind Flayer who watches you behind a locked door.
We almost did that. We just didn't. We missed the part about locking it. Does the Mind Flayer not just like telepathically go, "Hey guys, they're fucking us up here"?
I mean,
you just kill it. You kill it fast enough.
You kill it. I mean, if there's 6 people hitting or 5 people hitting this Mind Flayer in one hit, like they're not tanky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
so that's like one solution. Let's see. What were the other ones that it had? It had so if you do drink from it and you don't decide to capitalize on that, the next thing you can do is you can go to the south and talk to the Slods who actually don't want to be enslaved, and you can convince them to start the fight for you.
That's so good. That actually makes so much sense. Man, I can't. I see. And this is the fun thing about playing a character a certain way. I don't think I could ever. Somebody else would have had to have convinced Aldine that was a play, because I don't think Aldine. Yeah. I think with his history, Aldine would never go trust a demon. You want me to trust a demon? You want me to free the Salad demons and fight with them?
Yeah, we did just walk in there and just aggro the whole dungeon.
We really did.
That's a fundamental rule that I have as DM, because a lot of dungeons are set up to where like, oh, there's an encounter in this room, and then there's an encounter in the next room, and then there's an encounter in the next room, right? And they're like all split up, and it's like, oh, they're going for like war of attrition here. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, if I'm a bad guy in a dungeon, and the people in the next room I hear fighting from, I'm gonna go join why would I not go join the fight, or at least see what's like what? So yeah, like whenever like my players walk into dungeons, they like just open up like just arms blazing, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, everything's just gonna collapse on this one room they're in. Then
I mean,
which is exactly what happened. I mean, Slads came from the south, Mind Flayer from the north. The one fucking what are their names? Hang on, I gotta look up the names of these creatures again.
I'm trying to remember what else was in that fight.
There's Mind Flayers, Slods. There was some other. There was like a more powerful Mind Flayer.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying looking up his what his creature type is technically called.
Alhoon?
Alhoons, yes. There was the Alhoon that came from the north. God. And he didn't even always contribute to the fight. Like the first couple rounds,
you were nice
getting set up.
You were nice to us. That fight,
yeah, and then he became, and then like I remember Ralph was like to the point where he's like, I'm gonna kill the Alhoon, and he was in an absolute slog of a fight against that guy.
Because that fight culminates in Ralph getting sent to the Far Realm. Space Trebrum is unconscious. I am stunned. Aldine was stunned. and then Spatha dies.
Yeah.
I mean, and talk about like perhaps the moment in the story where the moment in the campaign where the story changes the most. I mean, that is probably it, right? That death is like, I don't know how much you know this, Dylan. That is like probably the most behind the screen talk I think you probably had to do with us, was you, me, and Spatha, you, me, and Josh, for that segment of figuring out what are we doing. Like, because you and I had to talk about the deal with Fade. I imagine you and him had to talk about a lot of things.
Yeah. Like,
let's talk about
what I talk about with Josh. I mean, that was. I think that was the point when
he had to decide whether he was going to be good or not.
I mean, sort of. Like, that was the point when he essentially signed over the essentially the rights to his soul.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's when Fade said, "Okay, I'm gonna use you for my own gain now, but I'll fix this situation." Which
was a lot it sounds similar. It is different than the deal that Aldine breaks.
Yeah.
Because we find out when we go back to the graveyard in Neverwinter that Aldine hasn't sold his soul. He's just signed a contract that says, "I'm gonna help you out for a long time."
Yeah, so it was basically peering behind the curtain a bit. The Aldine that is in the new campaign is genuine Aldine. The Spatha is not genuine Spatha. That is a copy of Spatha.
Okay.
That's the difference.
I thought he was gonna go though.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's the thing. Spatha thinks that he's the one going.
That's interesting.
But Fade just made a copy of him. She owns his soul, so she can make Spathas whenever she has the thing to power.
That's a terrifying sentence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, does Aldine like the idea of working with fake Spathas or real Spathas more or less? He has a lot of experience with fake Spathas. There was always a bunch of them.
Aldine probably won't be able to recognize unless she spends a lot of time with them that they're not the genuine Spatha. Because I mean, the personality is still the same.
What a horrible copy. It's the same personality,
but the point when Aldine will probably have the realization, like, realistically, is either A, he spends a extended length of time with one and finally realizes, like, there's a couple details that aren't lining up, or B, he is on his own thing and then eventually, like, serves his term, basically, comes back and realizes that Spatha's been in the Forgotten Realms the whole time and goes, "Wait, how are you back?" And he goes, "I never left." And you go, "What?"
Which I mean, that'll be a fun thing to explore, because there was a lot of conversation throughout the campaign that almost there's kind of a point where Aldine is like, "Okay, I go help Fade. Do I come, like, I can bring Lizette with me eventually. Do we even ever come back to Faerun?" Like, that's one of those things that was always nebulous, because, like, the pitch from Fade was create a world that you and I both think is ideal. Which is a really fun concept, because can Aldine and Fade agree on what that is? Aldine wound up having very jaded views about divinity by the time we reached the end of the campaign, which was, "Yeah, Helm, my brother. The rest of you are fine, I guess. I like Helm because my bro's tight with him. The rest of them haven't proved anything to me over the course of this journey."
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, no, that fight, and I think that also showcases, like, the fact that in this campaign, obviously, like, again, Mind Flayers had a very big role in the campaign, and obviously, you know, there's people that are very divisive about, like, the sun condition and when players, because of how much agency it takes away and how unfun it is to deal with. And I'm like, they know what Mind Flayers do. If they want to walk straight into the stun, I'm gonna let them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's rough to be like, and real quick, the only other, so there are only two other moments in the campaign I felt really pressed about, like, oh, this is bad. The The one was actually when Ralph falls in the lava before the Ruxathid fight. That was scary. The Roper was terrifying, dude.
That Roper, I'm still pissed about that Roper. That was the dumbest shit.
I know
this
you
dude
are.
comes around the corner and he goes, I'm just gonna do the dumbest shit and instantly get murdered for it. Kills me and then gets bopped for no reason. For no reason. It literally was just like a life for a life. Like, why? That Roper's the dumbest fucking thing. He had no reason to do that. He could have just chilled by himself, did his own thing, waited for the next thing to come early. He's like, oh, fuck you. I'm not even going to eat you. I'm just going to roast you like a burger first. Instantly got gotted. It's like,
it's like when something that has like borderline average intelligence thinks it has like a really cool idea.
Oh, damn.
You know, it's like I gotta try it, and it goes out there and tries it and goes, nice, I did. Oh shit, there's consequences.
That was the most bullshit. It was like, yeah, this Roper's gonna grab you. I go, okay. He's gonna throw you. Why? What am I gonna do? For what? For what? You're not gonna pull me towards you and eat me? No.
In the lava, cook you, fried. Time for fried bear.
Holy shit!
And then obviously the other moment in the campaign is Strahd. Hey Dylan, what the fuck was that?
What?
What the fuck was Carso doing with Strahd?
Wait, I cooked.
No, you not. Dag dying argues otherwise.
Wait, okay, no. Genuinely, I had that shit all mapped out. That could have worked, and I know for a fact I thought about it for weeks.
I know you did. I believe you.
Genuinely had shit drawn up.
But
no one wanted to work with me.
None of us were around you. What was the plan?
There was a plan. You had to shoot the scroll at me. That was the plan.
Oh, so you had a plan for after it went to shit. I'm talking about your decision to make it go to shit by attacking the heart.
Wait, there was no clues that, like, obviously that had to go.
Not before everyone's together.
You don't know if we're able to even get together. We could be in different houses for all you know.
What? You knew Dag would... Never mind. We're not doing this right now.
I know how far away you guys were. Why would I not act immediately before they started doing stuff? What if it started making illusions of us? We didn't know what it did. That's the problem.
Strahd, we never know what anything did. We were the...
That's what I mean. Like, what if it started spawning shit out of nowhere? It kept spawning stuff until we got rid of it. What if the illusion of everything, like, went away? What if Strahd died if we did it? Like...
Payneless, how do you feel about the fact that you had an adventuring party and you threw out the thing you always do, which is goes, okay, party name, and we locked in and settled on the guys for the entire campaign?
Am I surprised? No. I can't be surprised by group names ever.
Next is going to be the boys.
The boys.
Yeah, the boys.
We will once again do it again when we have a party of 85% guys, and that last remaining percent is a woman, and they go, sure, I guess I'm going along with this again. The exact same group dynamic.
And the next one's the lads. You get the idea.
I'm sensing a theme.
And then it's the squad.
I'm trying to think in other campaigns we play how well, if the names ever go better. I mean, Silver Sailors was good because that was just your crew name. So, like, the group didn't have to think for that. You weren't allowing anything else to happen there, Dylan. How did we conjure the Wanderers? We had a lot of arguments about that name. That name went through a couple of rough drafts that were not good.
Well, so the original name. The original name. Didn't you guys come up with like the Gilded Crusaders or something like that?
I think
it's because I told you guys of a group name that was like the something
very close.
Crusaders.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're gonna steal their name. And I was like, what? Why would you do that?
And I feel like it. I think you threw it out as an NPC from an NPC for the Wanderers. I don't think we actually.
Yeah.
I feel like we didn't come up with that.
Spitballing there.
Yeah. Dylan, what do you got from your list you want to ask Jake?
Well, we didn't get through the rest of this list, so some of these are like quick. Like, who was your favorite NPC?
My favorite NPC? I like Cedric a lot, but for the Cedric side, not the Zostom side. I let's see. Bonesaw outlived his usefulness. And early on, he was fun, and then you like guys kept him around. And I'm like, what is this
let's go
goblin
back
doing,
to Bonesaw.
man?
I didn't say why.
What is this goblin doing, man?
Hey, we set that goblin up good for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I actually like for the Fandelver part of the campaign, like the early, I actually think that Venom Fang has a lot of ways that you can interact with him that lead to different like branching off reasons of like what, like there's a storyline where Venom Fang helps you in Wave Echo Cave. Is that crazy?
And instead we went fucking shoot it down.
Like imagine you show up to Glasstaff and you say, hey, we're get out, and he goes no, and you go, we have a dragon. So I think he's cool. I liked let's see, I liked Windfall a lot as well for like late game of the session. I think she's kind of like the one opportunity that the DM has to like be like, oh, I'm not gonna try to match action economy with my players. I'm just gonna make a level 20 character, basically, like out of this NPC, which is what Windfall is. She's like mostly fighter with a little bit like with some rogue and some, you know, like some magic items that like help her, and she's got some potion. Like she's stocked up on like, if I gotta 1v9 these guys, I'm gonna 1v9 these guys, you know? So I think she's really cool. And the fact that like you get to like in her little arc, you get to kind of like introduce her right at the beginning and then put her behind this wall of things that the players have to do. Where it's like, I could open up with like I did and just taunt you guys, and you guys can't do anything about it. Oh, welcome, champions of Vecna.
Well,
and you guys were like, fuck you.
Well, be careful with that. Be careful with that, Jay, because you say, I can taunt you and you can't do anything about it. As we've learned, our party doesn't think that way. There are people in our party who think, oh, there are no consequences to immediately fucking shit up around 7 pit fiends.
That is true. I can't tell you how many times I talked to people outside of the campaign, and I said, if they do what they normally do and they just fight the enemies on site, they can't win. I'm like, there's 4 pit fiends in this one room. I'm like, they'll get shit on.
And how often did we still do it and walk out of it unscathed somehow?
Like, what did we do?
When you guys opened up, like, just fighting against the 2 pit fiend guards before her, like, private chamber.
Dude. Hey, you guys...
And I just go, well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You guys is a bit of
that was a one-person choice.
And I just go, oh, it's going to fireball you. It's going to fireball you again. And he goes, it can fireball 2 times? And I'm like, yeah, it's a pit. Its base is literally made of fireball. Like,
everybody,
like, you know what the other one's going to do? Fireball you twice. And Josh and Tim just go, what the fuck, man? 4 fireballs?
Meanwhile, Dylan and I both go, we tried.
And I think it was especially like so funny for that too, because the fact that like Windfall had specific like Spatha had previously received a lore, which was why he was so driven to get to Windfall.
Yeah.
But the timing of it was so awful for the rest of the party, because Aldine literally watched his father give up his life to give him a chance to like do something right. And Aldine immediately turns around and looks and goes, my party is already blowing the chance. like not even a second has passed and I've already lost all decision-making privilege.
To also then immediately follow up by him getting turned into a lemur. Woo! Yes!
Yeah.
Everything.
And he goes over and interacts with the Rakshas's bookcase and goes, oh, he's a lemur. Okay, how can we fix this?
You can't.
Guys, how can we fix this?
Imagine that That almost had to be Carso's biggest sacrifice, was fixing Spatha from being a lemur. That was almost where you had to blow that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean those were probably the NPCs to me that stood out that aren't like very obvious ones. Like obviously, I liked Zostom as a villain. He's cool. Like just for the same reason that I liked Koss as a villain too. Like, but those are like obvious choices. So I kind of thought I'd pick like some of the ones that maybe didn't stand out as much.
You want to talk a little more about Cedric? Like expand a little bit on the stuff you like.
So, it was actually funny. So one really funny interaction is, you know how Muriel very early called out.
Yeah.
So that happened the first night you guys camped. That was a complete. By the way, I played that by the seat of my pants because that was a Foundry bug.
Yep.
Where the image preview just for her showed the token art, which I hadn't changed, rather than the portrait art. So the rest of you saw the portrait art accurately, which was just Cedric. But when she hovered over it, the image hover in the bottom left showed the platinum dragon. And I was like, and she had messaged me like right as it happened and went, am I supposed to see this? And I went, well, I'm like, I could do two things here. I can either say no, but then she's gonna know, or I can just fucking run with it. So I was like, yeah, I'll just run with it. So I was like, yeah, you're supposed to see that. And she goes, okay. So that was like a really funny thing with Cedric. But like, I thought it would be cool as a way to present where Cedric actually did do things to help you guys. Like he did take care of some problems and stuff like that. Which makes sense for Zostom as well, because he wants you guys to get to a certain point and then lose. You know, it's kind of like when the villain believes they're so far above that it's like, rather than just kill the heroes immediately, let's have them do some work and get to a certain point, and then I'll kill them at this point. This is the point when they need to die. So I think Cedric became kind of like, that was the initial idea, and then it became this part where Zostom has lived so long that, you know, like most of the time people assume that when liches live a long time, kind of they become emotional voids, right? They can't feel anything. They're just cold, calculated. Life is just a tool, you know, stuff like that. And I was like, getting to play as Cedric by being a lich shape changed into a platinum dragon that then gets the shape change ability to become a person, and being Cedric in that gives him some of like the personality back that he had when he was a human.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and he actually like, as Cedric, enjoyed like, you know, helping, like fighting enemies and, you know, like helping people, and, you know, like there was like that bit of personality that came back to him where when you guys fought Zostom at the end, you were fighting a more human lich than normal.
The most human lich that's ever been.
Yeah, like the most emotion a lich has ever had in a fight, like against adventurers, or, you know, trying to do his ultimate like nefarious plot. So that's the cool thing about Cedric that I thought, was the fact that like the more he got to be Cedric, the more he kind of like became the person he used to be before, you know, he sunk into the lich hole.
I really enjoyed a lot of the end wrap reveals for the first half of the campaign, where you were like, yeah, he looked at you guys and was like, yeah, you're a bunch of fucking idiots. You're weak. Like, you delivered a line to me, I think, where you were like, yeah, he was totally down to help Aldine. And, like, because there was a point where, we talked after where I was like, Aldine, like, would have desperately been like, I don't get why me. And you were like, well, precisely that. You're, like, the ideal person to pick, because what the fuck are you gonna amount to? Only... Like, and narratively, I really enjoyed the, like, Aldine's dynamic with Fate, of how everything was like, yeah, who the fuck is this guy? Get him out of here. He's not gonna do anything good. And then everything just happens to go, actually, he says, fuck it, you have an arrow in your chest. Well, shit, this backfired.
Yeah. Pretty much. But, I mean, yeah, like, that's a legitimate reason that an enemy can pick to, like, help people, which is the fact that, you know, people could be like, I'm useless. Like, I can't do anything. It's like, no, that's why I picked you. Because when I'm done with you, getting rid of you will be the easiest thing.
Yeah.
That's villain thinking right there.
I'm gonna pull one of Dylan's questions to bounce for this one. Cause I think this will, what was your least favorite NPC, or one of the ones that you were not a fan of playing?
Yeah, least favorite NPC.
Bonesaw by the end of it.
No, Bonesaw never hit bottom of the barrel for me. I would say one of my least favorites that is in the book and plays such a vital role that I couldn't get rid of her is Halia. I understand why she's there, but she is just an antagonist where there doesn't need to be one.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, hey, so there's this village that you're trying to help, but what if we put an antagonist in the village so that whenever the players do something good, it's helping her the most? It's like, okay, so you put this figure in the village, and clearly the village depends on her, so the players can't remove her easily.
Yeah.
They want to help the village, but that's just going to help her indirectly the most. I'm like, she doesn't serve a vital antagonist role. Which is why I was so willing to just throw her under the bus as soon as I had an opportunity in Neverwinter.
I do like some of the things that came out of her. How you got to use her with Spatha, I thought was very good. I thought you used her well as a way to be like, hey, have you thought about some consequences to actions before? Let's start doing that.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked her for some. I think some of the party did need to see something bad benefiting people, because it gave you it added a little bit of gray morals to the area where you're like, well, we can't, we had the conversation at least a couple times in the party of well, what do we do about them? They're not good. And a lot of the times Aldine had to be a lot of things aren't good. I come from Neverwinter. You have, you just sometimes have to accept that there are bad things in your pathway, which I think gave a lot of credence to a lot of the other guest characters that came in, where it was we have to be a little okay with letting some people who aren't great help us every once in a while, even if we don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have anyone else?
I think. Oh, I mean, this one you guys won't realize, but what's his name? What's this stupid thing's name?
The mayor?
No, not the mayor.
You don't like Harbin?
Ilvash. You guys remember Ilvash?
No.
That name sounds familiar, but I don't know why. It came up.
That is supposed to be the final boss of the Fendover and
Poblo
campaign.
Right.
The giant, massive, baby deformed thing from the Far Realms.
Yeah, you did talk about how much you hate this.
That thing was stupid. What? I hate villains that just come in at the very end and go, I'm the big bad villain and you've never seen me before and I'm gonna kill you now. Okay? We're gonna kill you, but we have no attachment to be emotionally driven to fight you. It's just we have to fight you because you're trying to end the world.
I mean, that's why you hooked in the 3 guests for it, right? Is because you wanted another layer.
Yeah, I wanted more to that. So that's why Ilvash was I was like, oh, and he's here. And now he's gone. Goodbye. Yeah. Don't need you. But yeah, I hate, if you ever read through the actual campaign, it I can see the design inspiration, but man, it just doesn't connect to the plot at all. There's no way for this thing to ever interact with the players prior to that meeting. So, yeah. Those are probably my 2 least favorites. One of them I couldn't get rid of because it was too focal to the early game. The other one, since it wasn't focal to the early game, put that shit in the trash can so quick.
Yeah.
Okay, Dylan, what do you got next?
This one is off the list, and it's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about your genuine feelings of Ralph at the end when you posed the question after Saz Tom and he took the deal. My first question, did you think I was going to take the deal?
I think I was leaning that you would, because of how good of a narrative end it was for your character, and you're not the type of person to like shoehorn a character forward because you're like, oh, I like the character, so I'm gonna make myself be able to keep playing it. You didn't strike me as that type, so I was like, I feel like he's probably gonna take it because it is a good narrative end for Ralph.
And then why'd you give me like 2 minutes to say bye to everyone? What was that about? Was that to torture me?
Yeah. Pretty much.
I mean, that's how it would have gone, probably.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, it's like the I mean, you realize, I don't know if you told Sean, but you realize like who was the one that offered you the deal, right? You think that he's got like all the time in the world to be able to sit there and let you say goodbye for 45 minutes?
So, paired with that, did that mess up anything that Fade was trying to do? Because obviously, like, absorbing Janet, like, was Fade trying to use Ralph as another, like, pawn?
Yeah.
So, like, how did that come into play? What was the reaction to that behind the scenes?
So that was AO trying to basically clean up the meddling that Fade had done. That was him kind of like, because basically Fade came in and created a bunch of like loose ends in the universe, right? Where like that's why later on, the next time you guys interact with Fade like seemed a lot more distant and a lot less capable of like helping. It's because she was like, oh, I got too close to like the big one in this universe, and now he's aware of me, so I need to not get removed from existence.
She's like, I gotta stop doing that. I keep getting way too close to shit.
So AO basically like that was like his first opportunity to like come in and be like, okay, here's this one loose end that this other entity made that I'm gonna clean up real quick. So yeah, it definitely removed the pawn from Fade, but she didn't really have a stance to be able to kind of like fight over it.
I also feel like by that point, she basically has so locked Spatha and Aldine that it's probably fine, right?
Yeah. Definitely has Spatha locked at that point.
Yeah.
Like for sure.
I mean, for what it's worth, I think narratively it was a really good choice for you to take it. Because I can't imagine the Eve of Ruin portion with Ralph. Because I can't imagine, I think Ralph's just miserable the entire time. Like, I think he's just like, I want to go home. He's like, I don't want to be here. This is all horrible, and why do I care? You were already kind of getting to that point in the Phandelver stuff where he was like, why do I care about all of this? He's like, I like Aldine. I kind of like the other people. I don't want my woods to become a monster-infested hellscape. But, like, outside of that, it was like, why do I need to be here besides turning into a T-Rex to slap Zostom in the face?
It's pretty sick, though.
It was.
Pretty sick, though.
But yeah, and, like, all the problems that came after Phandelver are, like, not within Ralph's scope of, like, things that he would even be interested in helping with, right? Like, immediately, like, afterwards, like, you're going elsewhere, and he's like, I'm just gonna be a bear again, like.
Yeah, but imagine how powerful of a bear you could have become in the long run. We would have had to homebrew some bear forms.
I was excited about more homebrew bear form. I will say, when I thought about it afterwards, I was upset about that. I was like, oh, I want to see what the most upgraded bear could have been.
It's just like, thank fucking God I didn't have to cook more bear forms.
Like, the Neverwinter games, like, I was destroying people. It was so much fun. But yeah. That definitely was a good moment.
I got some stuff I want to know that I want to build off if you can. So during Eve of Ruin in Barovia, we hit a point where everybody but Aldine forgets Fade. Why? What happened? What was the event that triggered that?
I'm trying to think. So that was kind of the point where Vecna became aware of who had helped you and basically wanted to remove that source of help. Because again, he wants, just like Zostom, he wants you to get to a certain point, right? He wants to get to that final battle, but then his plan is he's going to seize the rod from you and then achieve his goal.
Yeah.
And he was like, if this, whatever this thing is, because he doesn't know it, because it's not from the universe, right? He's like, whatever this thing is, if it's there at the end, it jeopardizes my chance of winning. So I need to remove that from them. I need them to not know that that thought exists. However, you are the only special case because you are not the only one closely involved with your life that knows about Fade.
Yeah.
Literally, the only reason you got to remember was because you had talked to Lizette about Fade.
I shared the secrets. I had already opened the can of worms.
Yeah. So because of that, everyone else lost it. But you didn't because of that outside influence.
I mean, yeah, how it is one of those tricky things where it's like, how would you justify a character whose one of his sole motivations is to protect the one he loves, having shared like this life-changing event with her to like start like that is a key part of the proposal. Like it happens because he proposes because he knows he's leaving, right? Like he wants to put a rush on the things and show that he's committed now, even though he has to go. And so like there huge holes in his mind, like in his memories, if you fuck with that. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, and the only reason why he could remove those thoughts is because of the link, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it happened. It was kind of like his last-ditch effort before it got removed from Carso.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he just couldn't. He basically didn't have the ability to remove that big of stuff and fill it with things that made sense for Aldine, and so just was incapable of removing that memory.
Yeah. He's back. He's appeared. Dylan, do you want to talk a little bit about Carso?
Oh, what was your initial impression of Carso as a character? I know he came in like halfway with Dag, and like I know it wasn't like to be like an important like role, but like what was your opinion on like the character itself?
Who you asking, me or Payneless?
Both of you.
Okay, you can go first, Sean.
I really liked, it's hard for me to split Carso and Dag as not like a package deal. But I think it helps getting both of you because Dag is so easy to trust and you're so not. Like Dag was very open about like where he's from, why he's here, what his motives are. Like he has the benefit of being a paladin to what we can only trust him is like a lawful good being from his world. And then you are this guy who clearly isn't telling everyone everything and clearly has like a much has a much bigger thing you're gunning for that you need to be here for. But I thought you did a really good job of making Carso's actions with the limited amount of time you had very impactful and fun, that it made it hard to distance you or not trust you. Like I think about a lot of our first combats in the crypt in Neverwinter, and like your flavor of like the I pull you in, we dance, we dodge the fireball, like you make it hard to then distance yourself back from the character where it's like, okay, I've been on a long adventure with these people. Aldine trusts Spatha and Trebrum in an incredible way that should not be possible anymore, but like he trusts them. Like you would look at those two and go, why? But like he does. They've literally been through as much as you could possibly be through. And like he can trust Dag on principle. And he kind of just goes, I can't imagine a guy's gonna spin me in a circle to dodge fireballs while he bangs on a drum and also be a horrible human being. Like you made it tough. Which is why, like, when we got to Avernus, and we're in the Red Belvedere, and Anna was like, what are you gonna do? You're doing the same thing again, where you're trusting this guy who has ulterior motives. What are you gonna do when he gets the sword? What is your plan? And Aldine was just like, I trust that he's not gonna fucking blow it for the multiverse and backstab everybody before we defeat Vecna. I'll deal with his bullshit after, but I don't.
Was that planted by you, Painless, or was that just Anna spitballing that?
That was Anna.
Spitballing, because I was like, damn, that is a good way to frame me. If I came up with that, that's good. I was like, I got nothing against that.
I mean,
Yeah.
she credit to Sai. She fucking dug into you guys. She dug into everybody hard every time she because she shows up in a Virtus in particular, and she goes, "So Dag, huh? You're fine with Dag?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's a lawful good paladin." She goes, "What about the thing he just fucking let in and corrupt his being?" And I'm like, "What do you want me to do? The guy was gonna die to Strahd." I'm sitting there like I'm literally pot calling kettle black. I can't talk about making deals with entities when I die. Already been down that road a couple times. Like it was.
Yeah, no, she definitely digs into characters. I want you to know, by the way, she had eyes on you guys literally the whole campaign whenever she wanted.
Why?
How?
She took small personal possessions or pieces of you, like pieces of hair and whatever, so she could scry on you at any point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ralph's
So that's the reason why she had so much info. Because she could just look in whenever she desired.
How could she scry and cast like 50 attacks a turn and like fuck? Is this a level 20 of every roll? Like is this a level?
No, she's not even level 10 in any.
Yeah,
role.
she's like a really well thought out multi-class for what she has to execute.
Yeah, the reason why she could scry so much is because she was working under Fade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fade is the one that gives her the ability to scry.
Like as a cleric, or like as a warlock, or like as a what kind of dynamic?
Not really related to like a class. More as just a feature.
But just like a contract.
Yeah.
I mean,
on the upside, she can scry whenever she needs to. On the downside, she literally never gets to have a free life.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like what's the trade-off here?
I mean, before you quick answer the Carso question, I don't think it's because you haven't flat out told us for renewal, but I think you posted the 9 in the order of the classes they are, with like one caveat, because you pair the Ranger and Druid, right? I think you did that. I could be wrong. I thought you lined them up that they went Artificer, Bard, Cleric. I could be wrong, because again, you haven't told us. Fade is the Warlock, right? Are you allowed to tell us that?
Fade is the Warlock.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, because you play her in the context of Aura Campaign like a Warlock patron, and you do a really good job of that, where like it is so obvious that like when we started getting the information for the new campaign, and I saw that they were all like, I went, well, if she's not the Warlock, my mind's fucked. I went, I don't know what she is then, because you play her so well for that role.
Yeah. That is what she is, yeah. My impression of Carso was the perfect way to keep Koss relevant after Spatha has resolved his connection with him. It was the perfect segue for me to be able to keep Koss as a relevant figure and always at the front of your characters' minds the whole time. And it was and it was very much like, I want you to know, Dylan, the whole time, the entity that enslaved your people way back, that was Koss.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Koss that you guys fought is not real Koss.
Is he just a sword at that point? Like he just...
I'm doing him like a Darken in League, where he dominates the vessel as the weapon.
That's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm. So the real, so if you had seized the person talking to you from the weapon, that was genuinely Koss. That was your first interaction with the entity that enslaved your people, was when you picked up the sword in that chamber in Pandemonium.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you... I felt from like me and Aldine's perspective, Carso gets the sword, and then I was shocked by Carso's behavior, because I thought you had something that you were gonna do, or that you were at least considered doing with it even before Vecna. I really thought you were gonna do something. Did you have something in mind that you changed your mind on, or
yes?
Okay.
I was gonna cast Wish on it, but I realized that a really bad idea right before the final fight to cast Wish and just be like, all right, these guys.
So you did
No,
you did commit to the
genuinely.
idea of like I can't fuck up this final fight because everything gets worse if I do. Was
The
that
sword
kind of
just comes back. Yeah,
yeah?
no, like it just everything just repeats. You know, it Carson was good. Like he was good in itself. It's just his trauma from like what he experienced made him very mistrusting of like spilling all the beans of himself to other people. So like when you guys are like, what are you doing with that? I'm like, hold on. I don't want to tell you right now in case you mess up my plans.
Shout out, by the way, to your idea to make the fake rod piece. I thought that
That was
was
such a good idea.
really fun and clever. If it was
It
ever
was a
gonna
good idea.
like, there were a lot of ways I could see that having come up if things had gone a little differently. Like if we returned to the Sanctum and fought Koss there, I thought that was an ingenious backup plan, was to have the fake rod piece.
The only reason why you guys didn't fight Koss at the Sanctum is because he realized that you guys had caught on to him being in the Sanctum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can't surprise him there, so there's no point in me being there.
Did we have any positive payoff from me looping in Tasha into everything? Like, did it change any outcomes, or was it just kind of like, well, she knows?
Or was that also Kaz in that moment?
It was not Koss. That was Tasha. Did it? It didn't. I wouldn't say it directly helped with anything in particular. Like, definitely not anything that you guys would have seen. It helped speed up your timeline in terms of where you were able to get to and at the rate.
Okay.
Is what I would say that it helped with the most.
So when we were deciphering
it did prevent Koss from killing any of the big three.
That was kind of what I was insured. That was kind of what I was thinking about. I was like,
it did prevent that. Like, he didn't get to do any more damage in the Sigil Sanctum.
Yeah. So like that might have happened had we not really like touched it. If we just let things be, he probably got away with killing somebody.
Oh yeah, I mean, like in the book as it's written, when Koss like surprises you all just get back from the previous like area you're at to him seeing him stab Illustrial in the backside.
Was it Koss who we gave Koss's notes to?
Yeah.
Damn, I really did think.
Said that. What was that thing? What was that? If we like figured out the code on that.
Like it was just like a journal record from like when him and Vecna start to have their falling out, right?
Yeah.
No, it's like if we repeated something and it like something happened, we were pretty sure of.
Oh, if you repeated the whole journal entry?
Yeah.
Like what would have happened?
Yeah.
You would have pulled Koss out of the sword.
Oh fuck.
Wait, is that bad?
I don't know. Which would you rather fight? The vessel that Koss dominated or Koss himself?
It would have been really bad to do in the moment we would have done it. That's the answer. It's not a good thing to do then, I think.
That's wild.
That's why he wrote it. That's why it's in such a weird language, because he dominated the vessel to write it, and he was hoping that he could get the vessel to read it. But the vessel didn't, because it didn't know the language.
Hey, what did I not get? What was the thing I like? Because I brute forced it. How was I supposed to get it? Do you know? Do you know, or did you never intend for us to actually solve it?
No, I did. Let's see, where did I have this? What was this? What note had this in here? This was in. Oh, I'm in the wrong part. I need to be in the epilogue part of the session notes.
I want you to know why you look for this. Dylan earlier posed the TPK question as, was there ever a part where you thought we were going to get TPK'd? And the list he sent me, he has it written, a time where you really wish we got TPK'd, which I do think is a different question. I do think that's...
Yeah.
When in the campaign did you want to fucking kill us, Payneless? When did you think we deserved death?
Hang on, let me see if I can find this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can search it, like... Are your eyes okay there, Dylan?
No, his eyes are never okay.
I'm looking at you right now.
Oh, you're looking at me? Oh, thanks. What? Bah. I can't find it.
That's okay.
Did I put it here? No. Oh, here it is. Okay.
It was wingdings.
So, I mean, sort of, yeah. So, where was... I did not craft this myself. I had the idea for it, and then I had Claude craft it for me. So let me find the chat, the AI agent. Let me find the chat where I asked Claude to craft it for me, and I can tell you the rules for it.
Because people at home, I spent 3 hours after session. I was up till like 3 in the morning. Just, I had friends watching me with my stream pulled up going, Sean, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I'm close, I can feel it. I'm like, I'm figuring out words. And they're like, Sean, they're like, there's something wrong. And I'm like, I know that. I'm like, I don't know what it is that's wrong. But I'm like, it has to be something I just don't know that would solve the problem. I'm like, because I'm getting 90% of the words. Which this felt really good, by the way, because we really beefed the other cipher during the campaign. We did so bad at that one.
Well, what, in that family?
No, it was the one in Talhund.
Yeah, the dwarf themed one.
We spent like an hour on that cipher in game before we went. Help, please.
Oh.
We went, please, Payneless. We don't
want to.
It was
like the characters were switched like one over. I remember.
This one's like way back. Let's see if I search this or this maybe.
Dylan, you got anything you want to talk about while we wait, or you got anything you want to ask me while we wait?
Well, I think one of the last things I want to ask is about the wish. So did you know I was going because we were running into the problem where there was 2 counter spells going on every round, which made it tough. Mm-hmm. When I told you to cast a spell and I would take care of it, did you know what I was up to?
No, I didn't know you were gonna cast. I thought you had a revival spell on you, and we were just gonna bring Trayvon up. I was dumbfounded that your plan was Wish. I was like, we are in the middle of the final fight, and you're gonna cast Wish in combat? I'm like, this is... I literally went, like you said, I went, oh my god, he has no revival spell that he can cast. So what tuned me in that something was really fucked was that you moved away. And I'm like, what spell do you have that revives from long range?
I was trying to get out of range of Sauce Tom.
But that didn't make... In my head, I'm like, I'm like, we'll just have to do the roll, was how I went. Like, I'm eating 1, or you're gonna eat 1. Either way, and then I would eat the first one, and then we know we can't get out of range per se to some degree.
No, but that was like a backup. The backup was get far away from Zaz Tom. I only had to worry about 1 counter spell. The problem was that Vecna also could counter spell, so I was like, I need to get into a situation. Not that I tried to trick Payneless, but I do want to know if I misled him. But I wanted to get into a situation where it was like, you cast a revival, they counterspell it, I counterspell that. Oh, it's counterspelled. That was what I wanted to happen, because I was like, now I have free range to cast whatever I want. And since I held my action, I'm like, it's time to cast my spell and no one can counter it.
I can't find the chat.
That's fine.
But from what I do remember, I remember there was a specific way that basically the kind of start is you can start to differentiate vowels from consonants, and then the number of the vowel in the alphabet or something dealt with the number of lines in the symbol.
Oh, okay.
The number of lines or dot in the symbol would give you an indication as to where in the alphabet it lined up, and that would get you the letter.
Interesting.
but it was like a super complicated one, and I remember the
As
prompt
it
I gave
should
it because I
be.
remember I took what it was, and in the book it obviously doesn't give you a cipher to give the players because Wizards Coast is never going to be that involved. So it's just like, oh, they'll get clues for it, or they can crack it if they pass a DC 30 intelligence check. And I was like, okay, well that's pretty damn high. So I'm like, I got to make this cipher really hard.
Sorry, we booted our wizard halfway through the campaign. We can't do that anymore.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, like I need to make a cipher that's equivalent to an DC 30 intelligence check.
Okay, Payneless. This fucker. The Wish. Did you?
Yeah, so
I
Did it surprise me?
I didn't know he was doing it. I thought he had a revival spell and he was just being dumb.
It surprised me too.
Yeah,
Definitely caught me. It wasn't something that I planned that I thought you had planned or anything.
In the background, I literally had no spells. All my spells were used up below. I think I had like a couple third levels, but I was like, I have my 9th level, and then I have like 3rd level and below, which I was literally just gonna get counterspelled. So I was like,
Oh, we
to be frank,
long rested
I
before
was-
that fight.
yeah, I know.
What the
I
fuck
used
are
up
you
all my
doing?
spells. Well, remember, all of them were getting counterspelled. My
Yeah.
turns were literally nothing. So I was like, oh my god. I was like, what genuinely do I have to do to get my wish spell off? Because I was like, that's the only way this fight. Because by then, Trayvon was dead. Spatha was gassed. Dag was soon to be gassed and was getting there. I think he used his lay on hands all to its fullest. So I was like, we're not making much progress here.
I was fine. I was at full health, I think, at that point, which is my favorite
So, like,
part of this campaign.
You'll get one rounded by then
Yeah.
if it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
you. So I'm like, we are like, I thought that's what we're gonna get TPK'd. I was like, the entire time, the like 3 turns prior, I was literally sitting there going, we are going to die unless I get my wish off. Like I need to wish this, and that's why I was like, thank God I didn't do it once I got the sword, because we would have never beaten Vecna. So I was like, oh man, how do I literally was thinking the entire time. Like, you guys, obviously I didn't have my camera so you couldn't see, but I literally was walking around my basement floor here, like in circles, trying to figure out how to do this. I'm literally sitting there pondering, and I'm like, okay. And then when you were like, oh, we'll just cast revival spells, I was like, yeah, wink. That's totally what we're gonna do.
Did you think I knew? Did you think I had tuned? You're like, man, Sean's staring at my character sheet. He knows I got the wish prepped. He's good at this.
But that was the thing. I was like, I hope they don't know, because then they'll try to figure out some way to like get around it. Or they'll be like, no, don't use it. That's why I didn't want you guys to be like, don't use it. Because I was like, well, I'm gonna use it. Like I can't not use it here. So that's the thing that sucked though. My whole plan was casting wish, and then you're like, all right, it works. What do you wish for? And I was like, oh my god, I didn't even think about what my fucking wish was. Like I was so focused on making it happen that I was like, oh my god, what do I want to happen? That's why I completely like froze and stuttered, and I was like, all right, guys, I need to think about this. And you're like, no, you need to do it right now. And I'm like, glee. So like, that's probably where part of my plan could have been better. I could have casted a better wish.
Yeah, probably. But I think yours was very influential.
I think it was fair. And I mean, at the end of the day, like everything worked out. Not that my character knew that at all, but like it was definitely like a send off of like everything's gonna go to shit unless this guy dies, and I was willing to be that person to like sacrifice it so that everyone else could at least finish the job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Carson was pretty much like,
and what a way that fight finished afterward too.
Yeah.
So how did you feel, Payneless, when Vinny teed up? Because I've thought about this for a while now, and I'm like, it makes perfect sense. I do not knock him for the character decision toward the use of the rod in that way.
Oh, yeah, no, that makes complete sense, right? Like, don't just end the threat here. Make sure it could never be a threat again. Make sure it never was a threat to begin with. It was just funny when he said, "I wish he never existed at all," like in past tense, because then I'm like, this whole journey, the inspiration for it was because he existed.
Yeah.
So if this whole journey never happened, so I was like, this wasn't the plan for like my send off at the end of the campaign, but I'm like, damn, this works fucking good, because now I can just ask my players, what would you have done then if you didn't go on this journey, like over these last 6 months?
Which, like, I think out of everybody, like, obviously drastically changes Carso.
Yeah.
I think, to me, the two biggest things we lost, from an epilogue from it were that I was really curious to see Trayvon and Helm post the events of the campaign.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, like, from your perspective and his perspective, where that went. Like, what did you have teed up for post Vecna Helm?
So, gods, how they've always worked for me, and it varies depending on edition of D&D and lore and stuff like that. But gods to me are always, if they have a devout following somewhere, it's always their identity is what provides them their presence.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you go and kill a god, it will eventually come back unless you eliminate all reference to that god. Like if you go through and eliminate all the followers, or you shun it so hard that people don't worship it anymore, that's how you truly kill a god. And so basically what had happened is Helm had taken the one part of him that could still hear prayers and stuck that in Trebrum while his physical form was killed. And basically it would exist there while continuing to listen. And that's why Trebrum could hear all the prayers, because that was the part of Helm that was inside him. And then eventually it would regain its form again, Like Helm would come back in full force after a period of time, but it would have been probably a decade.
Terrifying thought to be a person who just suddenly hears all the prayers to your god. What a horrifying experience.
But yeah, that was basically the only aspect or fragment of Helm left, was what was in Trebrum.
And then for me, I was like, fuck, I don't get the coming home, dad's okay, we get to talk about it. Like, I was like, that was one of those where it's like, that hurts. But I appreciate you gave us especially for Aldine, I was like, I think, like, him going over to the new world with only knowledge up to Zastam is fine, but him going to the new world with knowledge of what happened to Vecna is very important to who he is. Like, he has a lot more things he gets to exist in this world, and he gets to meet adventurers, and he gets to meet, like, people who are like his party when they first started, and he gets to go, have you ever had your arm disintegrated by a sphere of annihilation entirely? Have you ever had
your brain eaten out by a mind flare?
Are you
your body transformed?
Are you ready and committed to what you're about to do? And they go, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes, exactly. Like,
yeah. That was probably one of my favorite ends to a session, by the way, was when I got to annihilate your arm.
Oh, dude.
And then I just got to end the session there. That was fantastic, because I'm like, you don't know where you are, the party has no idea where you are, and you are actively bleeding out of your torso.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think I really got to run the gamut of all the things a D&D player never wants to experience. I got the whole shebang.
Yeah.
Oh. It's a fun question. I want to tee it back up. Were there any moments you really wanted to kill us? You wanted us to die? A DM should never, but if you had to.
Well, so obviously I designed the final fight from the aspect of, and the same with the Zastam fight, of I'm going in as a DM with the intention to try to kill my players, and if they are going to win, it is because they are fated to win, right? Yeah. That's kind of like the goal is. I always approach it where when I design encounters to be like very hard or like boss encounters, I'm always like, I'm going to throw in what I want and what fits thematically with the fight. And I'm not going to make a plan for my players to win. They have to figure that out. And if they do, congratulations. But it'll feel like a genuine victory from their side rather than like something orchestrated by me. And that's what I kind of want to go, is I want to make it feel like the players actually like we actually surprised the DM that we were able to win this, which is, the point. I'm the boss. It should be a surprise to me if you beat me. But like, so that's kind of like above board, like times that like, I planned for you to TPK'd. Times that I wanted to TPK you, like specifically because of how the fight started, was the Elithanok fight. With you guys getting like 3-man stunt. I'm like, these guys deserve to die. Like, this approach was just awful. Like, these guys deserve, just call it. We're gonna run it back with new character. Like, what the hell is this?
You were like, come on, you're like, this is the same party who walked into Tal 100th and fucking poisoned a bunch of goblins with dinner?
Yeah, like that was a moment. I think the only other one was like,
individually killing Spathov with the Revenants. Not a TPK, but
that was fun. That was just fun. I was like, you get to reap what you sow now. You take that crown.
All of it.
Now I get to make you look like the weakest you've ever been, which is in a jail cell, no weapons, just beat to death. But no, I think the other one was it's not as much a TPK, but like definitely like making you guys feel like you genuinely lost, which is the encounter in the basement of Death House.
Oh.
Where it wouldn't have mattered if you guys killed all the enemies. If Irina died, that is a loss for you. Just overall, right? That was the one where I was like, I want to see how I play out the plot if I actually do kill Irina here and they do lose.
Is there a part in that where we legitimately have players could have been like, no, you're not coming with us, and she wouldn't have, or was she always gonna be there?
No, you could have like
Let's
go.
To
turn her down and make sure she goes somewhere else.
I do love how dumb we are sometimes. We're just like, yeah, bring her with us, and it's like, do you know anything about her capacity of what you're bringing her into? You're bringing a girl, just a regular girl, into the Death House.
I love that you guys immediately realize that. It's like, wait, can you like? No, you can't do anything. Oh, you just. Oh God.
Why did you want to go in? What is your problem? Are you okay?
It especially comes around when we get to the confrontation with Shredder. He goes, "Why the fuck did you bring her? Why? Why would you bring? What was your goal with bringing her here? Do you understand who she is?" And we go, "No." Because at that point, Aldine, I've talked about it a little bit. At that point, like the Eve of Ruin point of the campaign for Aldine was like he was compromising on some morals to get the job done. Where like he would normally, there were a lot of things he would have done differently if there was time, if the stakes weren't so high, and if like it didn't feel like it had to be them. Like if he would have wanted to help people in Barovia more. He would have like there were definitely parts of the story where it's like this would have never flown this way by his general moral credence, except what choice do you fucking have?
One question that I have for you guys is, do you guys have a good idea about the number of enemies that quote unquote got away?
No, I do. I couldn't, like, I thought about it. You teed up Tribor for us for a while as like a potential place to go, and we never bid on that one. Nope. So like anything over there we just let go.
There wasn't anything specifically like antagonistic over there or anything. I mostly just like set up markets, and there would have been an interaction with Braum would have been like the only thing.
Aldine definitely thinks he let Braum get away. I think there are very few credits there. There were very few characters over the course of the campaign Aldine met and went, "You're not a good person, I don't like you, you might be better off gone," and Braum was one of them. There was just an immediate dislike of him. Or Aldine was like, "No, you don't trust you further than I can't throw very far, don't trust you at all." I'm trying to think.
I would say the one that comes to mind for me first is, do you remember the drow woman you met in Gibbet Crossing?
That is one of the big ones where Aldine was... I thought I brought it up to you and you were like, she got killed elsewhere, I thought is what you told me. But...
She did get killed elsewhere, yes. But she was a Yaklul.
Yeah.
Disguised. that made its way all the way back to Phandalin because that's where you sent her.
Yep.
And she did luckily get killed by Cedric in the city of Phandalin.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Because he would basically was like, okay, this is a demon, and if I don't kill her here, she's gonna kill the entire village. And I feel like if the heroes come back and the entire village is dead, that's probably not gonna do well for my plan for them later. So I should probably just kill this now. So that's what he did.
Whoops. That's all on me. That's another tradition. That's another classic Aldine whoopsie. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, we didn't kill that ancient green dragon. we sure did leave that one be. Which I think
from the Tomb of Wayward Soul. What was that guy's name?
It's in my notes somewhere. We also probably got a lot of people killed because of that.
The mage and Kryn dimension doored away at the end. Yeah.
Not my problem. Like those are a lot of situations where Aldine would have been like, yeah, we should really deal with that, but at that point he's like, not my fucking problem, dude. That's someone else's problem. There's got to be heroes in this place who can deal with that. It can't all be us.
We're not here to fix every plane's problem. We're just here to fix all
robot thing in Kryn fightable?
The inevitable.
Like the whole robot.
Like the thing that one shot those people.
Yeah. It technically could have been fightable. I mean, it was a Marut. It was a warped Marut.
Yeah. Not a thing I want to fight.
No, I mean it just automatically hits you. Same thing with some of the things that you did fight.
Yeah. Still, I think there was a lot of I think you weren't present for the reveal of that. But like the idea there is that like it kills anything that isn't in its original body from the plane.
No, I remember that.
So like I remember telling you like, man, it's a good thing he's not from Orworld because he would fucking murder all of us. Like all of us were on the chopping block for that thing. Like in different I'm like on its kill list twice.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I think back on the campaign, Dag died, Trabram dies, Aldine dies, Spatha dies, because of your wish, Carso dies. Was Ralph and Muriel Ralph died, so Muriel was the only character who never had a death, I think.
I believe so.
Would be got close.
I believe so.
You got close.
Muriel definitely went down, but never died.
Have you ever had a player never go unconscious and the first thing you do to them is kill them? That is still one of my favorite things, that Aldine had gone the entire campaign up to that point never going to 0 HP, and then just fucking eats it.
Immediately dying.
Flat death, just skips a couple of steps.
I've had players go through that a couple times, but it had been a while for sure.
Let's quick hit this one. Did you have any monsters you wanted us to fight, but you didn't have a place for it?
Oh, dude. I mean, I would talk about it, but
you're gonna use
I just put them into the new campaign.
Oh,
I mean, a lot of the inspiration for the monsters in the new campaign is going to be more based in 3.5.
Oh God.
Like I want to like I preface this, and I can tell you guys, because I'm going to reiterate again on your guys' session 1, but for the next campaign, I want to stress, because I know I stressed this in Phandelver, which is the fact that there is never a combat where you have to do the combat, pretty much, right? Like there is always another option you could explore. Now that doesn't mean that necessarily it's always available. That other option is always available. You know, there might be times where you just miss the opportunity or something, or you miss the timing. This campaign, I'm stressing that even more because it is a low combat campaign. It will be more you guys deciding that the best course of action is to fight, rather than I'm bringing the fight to you. It'll be, you guys will have your decisions, and as a group, you guys will decide, I think the best course of action is to fight whatever this is. That'll be a majority of the inspirations for the combats. So because of that, because of the fact that it's more, the onus is more on you guys to choose to fight, I'm approaching combats with more of the first edition, second edition mindset, which is combats are always deadly.
He says to the level 1 party, who's going to be level 1 for 7 sessions, 9 sessions.
I mean, yeah, like it's going to be a while, yeah. But like that's the approach. And so based on that, I'm using what I think is peak monster design, which is 3.5. I have literally thousands of options. So I know that in the new campaign, something that's going to be explored a lot more is elementals.
Ooh, I like that.
In terms of monster types.
Dylan loves elementals.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Dylan, by the way, if you watch the VOD for group 2 session 1, you're gonna see immediately what he means by that, because he narrates a fight. There is no way that group walks out of that fight alive if they did that combat without a lot of luck on their side.
Correct. There was 6 level 1 characters, and they fought 24 shades in a 30 by 30 room.
Interesting.
It is a really cool narrative of how that works, is what I'll say. I really love the way you describe it.
Yeah.
You got anything you want to talk about, Jake? Anything that's itching at you?
Not really. And I mean, like, I might have something, like, you know, there might be something that comes up like months down the line, but like right now my brain is so focused on gearing up for this current one that, yeah, like this campaign is mostly just like we've covered most of the stuff that would come to mind. So I had a great time. It was a blast. I think you guys made really cool characters. It was really cool seeing you guys bounce off each other. And I think it was fun mostly because of the reason that we got to expand a lot more outside of what a traditional D&D module tries to do.
You fucking nailed blurring the line between module and non-module play. Like, I legitimately think if someone didn't know, you would not be able to tell we were playing a module. You do such a good job with it.
Thank you.
Dylan, you have anything left itching on your mind? No?
We hit all my questions, really. I had, like, some other stuff, but I feel like you already, like, answered all of them pretty much. I think it's, like, a good stamp on the old Eve of Ruin Fandelver.
Mm-hmm.
What are you...
Looking forward to the next one now.
Yeah, what are you most excited for going in the renewal?
Oh, God. I mean...
There's so much. Dylan, you have to know, this fucker, we're in call on that Thursday night, and he goes, have I given you the info you have on the 9? And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, oh, I haven't given it to you yet. And he waits 3 days. And I go, am I gonna get that? And he goes, yeah, give me a minute. I'll get it for you. He sends it to me. I don't know what the fuck it is, Dylan. I have ideas of what the information I've been given could be. But he essentially gave me the 9's names and another name for each of them. And, like, another name that and some of the names I know. Like, some of them are really obvious because he's given me information about them. A lot of them I don't know. And so I'm like, I'm gonna have to figure out what the fuck this means. Cryptic ass bullshit. I love it. But... Are you
so, key thing, everybody is starting with info on the 9 that only they know. And obviously you're free to share that however much you want. And then the other thing is everybody's starting with a non-combat related magic item. Like a custom item. Which typically I will draw inspiration from your backstory to create. Like I know I gave Sean his. And I promise you, the more creative you can get with it, the more use you'll get out of it, but it will always be relevant.
Cool.
Yeah, mine's tied to my loot. It's rad.
So, it's kind of like a thing where, like, the player gives me their backstory and everything, and then I kind of like cook up like the info and the item, and then I kind of like connect with them and do their session 0, where I kind of like get them to where session 1 is going to start, and then I'm like, okay, you're set.
I joked with Payneless that yours is just gonna be a bomb. He's gonna give away swag.
Non-combat bomb.
A non-combat. You know, a bomb made to get you out of combat, or perhaps into
hurt
it.
Anyone.
No, I think it does.
The building only bomb.
The building only bomb.
It only damages structures.
Building only massive bomb. The bomb.
I just keep blowing it up in my face.
Yeah, I'm stoked for this. I cannot wait for Tuesday.
Yep.
I am terrified of what this group's dynamic's gonna look like. Cause boy, and just every time a new group comes together, I'm like, what's the vibe gonna be? And it's always different. It's always fucking.
Dude, I think it's great the fact that, like, the amount of effort you put into your character for this campaign. This is the first time that I think it's been matched by 2 other players.
Let's go. like in our group or like broadly?
I think no, like both. Like Nervash probably has just as much lore and design for his character that you do for yours.
And
then in group 2, Jazz, the one who plays Elifoy, the professor.
Yeah.
Also, like 9 pages of backstory, like multiple, like, you know, connections to like things in the group, out of the group. Like, I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
And then I told him about yours, and I'm like, I mean, I read it. You know, I'm gonna have to reread it again and again from time to time because it's just a lot of info to remember.
I literally went highlight in different color for like things that I'm like, this is like this is like if he needs to briefly open up to check a dynamic with a character, he can just go, okay, that's the thing he wants me to remember. I actually cut some stuff out of my lore document. I had because I was like, this is just stuff you don't necessarily need. Like, I had a bit at the end of it where I had like if somebody at random had walked up to Malik and said, tell me about this person, like he would give like a 2-3 sentence blurb, not even, like to be like, this is how I feel about, and it's just like tied to all of his family. And I had one where it'd be like, if you were to ask his family, this is like what each of the persons would say. But I was like, I feel like most of that got conveyed in what I've already written. I was like, I'm just adding more shit you don't need. I'm like, plus I like fleshing out the stuff through the roleplay. What I will say is that, like, I have it's very fun to me to make characters for you and Dylan, because I try not to retread certain things, and there are just always some things I happen to tread back onto. Like, I think this will be my 3rd character now where I have the full name for them, but I do not intend to give the full name out to everybody. And they're always for different reasons. Kella's was because she was actively hiding from her family and she did not want anybody to clock her. Not that that fucking helped at all. They looked at her and went, aren't you fucking her? And she went, what do you mean? No. Aldine was very much like, he had put the distance between his family that there was no reason to throw the weight of his family name around, and it might cause more problems. Malik is a little similar, where he has no reason not to say his family name, but he has no reason to. Right? There is distance built now where it's like, and there will be moments where I'm sure it will be important whether or not a person knows his family or not, given some things I've constructed. But like, for the brief connection I have with Vinny and Nerve's characters, I don't think I've actively... I think all the introductions have just been first name.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah. Dylan, I want you to know that Nervash hit me up the other day and went, hey, are you interested in... I told you this. I did tell you this. He was like, hey, I have this thing for you. And when he gave me that and we started to flush it out a little more, I went, oh, he's cooking. So when you say he has matched me, I'm like, I believe it. It sounds like he's got nonsense written, and I love it.
Dude, it's so crazy. So like in my Obsidian vault for like all my notes for the campaign, which have already gotten to the point now where if I don't collapse folders, it is a pain to pull from like the top to the bottom. he is the only person where for this character, instead of having a note with sections in it, I have a folder with notes in it. I have 4 notes for his character, and I had to make a folder out of it. I was like, Jesus.
What I like, what I'm excited for is I like when we step onto the actual game and we start playing, and people see, and you play with people and you realize, and they realize, oh, you've cooked, like you have so much here, and they start to go, well, I want to have so much, and because that happened in Fandelver, where like Star, Tim, even Josh were like, well, hold on a minute, what do you mean you have this many layers? What? Yeah, I'm gonna go back in, and we're gonna expand a little bit.
Oh yeah, like I think it was like session 10. Josh hit me with like a 4-page document.
Yeah.
Just like expanding on the backstory of Spatha.
And I love that. I'm like, let's.
And then from that point, I was like, now I can do so much more with your character. See?
Yep. And especially, I mean, Dylan, it was fun because Payneless came into the call and he said to everybody, he said, reminder, this is going to be a largely role-playing, focus-centric campaign. And a couple people were like, right, yeah, okay, that will be fun. I haven't really done that before. And for me, that is like the crux of D&D. Like, this is where, like, I love it.
I told Sean earlier, like, that first session with group 2, there was an hour and a half where they just talked. I didn't say a word for an hour and a half in that session. It was just character and character dialogue.
And Dylan and I both know we love that as a DM. Those are the best parts where you just sit there and go.
Great. I'm just like writing down notes about things they're saying and like plotting out like, oh, this is where I think this session's gonna go. You know, maybe I'm adding in like a couple things. Like that's all I was doing. I was just letting them talk. At one point, I got up and went to the bathroom and I didn't pause anyone or anything. I just left and came back.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah. So like it's stuff like that. Like Sean said, like it was a no combat session because the only time that there would have been combat, I summarized it in like 5 minutes and said, we're moving on. The story's more important.
Yeah. I'm really
interested.
I'm really excited for us on Tuesday because I'm interested to see dynamically how different we are. And like story structure, how different it is. Because I watched the beginning of their session and I went, oh, I'm like, that's different from how we're pitched. I'm like, that's cool. And it makes sense. Why would you pitch everybody to start the same way?
Oh yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, and like I think the other funny thing is the fact that like it's carried through the entire session about the fact that their start is basically 2 of them saw an event that led them to a location. 2 other ones heard about the event that they saw, which led them to stalking them to the location. 2 others heard about those 2 stalking another 2 to the location, so they followed them.
There are some absolutely wonderful lines that come out in the first 40 minutes of that session that have me dying, of where they're just like, yeah, I saw a woman with armor up there and I just figured, why not? What are you doing here? Don't worry about it. Okay, let's go, I guess. And then they all finally...
As the session goes on, it's just repeated references back to questions that haven't been answered by other people. But it's just like they're telling a conversation, and the conversation starts dying. One other one goes, "Okay, yeah. So now I want to get to the point that I asked earlier, which is why are you 2 traveling together?"
Yeah, no, I had to stop just because I wanted to go to bed. But I am at the point where for the first time, Ishan goes, "So why the fuck are you 2 here?" And there's dead silence, and then other people pick up convo, and I'm like, oh, he's not gonna drop that. I'm like, there's no way he walks out of that room without an answer or some idea of why. It's so funny. There's also, perhaps one of my favorite lines is the 2 professors in the dynamic just sitting there going, and then they go, "You're a student." And he goes, "Yeah, I think we've seen each other around." He's like, "Were you in one of my classes?" He goes, "Fuck no, I dropped it." And he's like, oh.
The best part that you're probably about to get to too is the 2 professors. Like one of them looks and goes, "Hey, are they like watching us or anything?" And I go, "I mean, not really. They're all conversing and looking at stuff." He's like, "You want to just leave?" And they just leave. They just leave the room. The two professors are like, we don't know these people that well. We're just gonna leave.
And Haley's literally in the background going, "Fuck no, you can't leave." It's very good. I'm excited to get through more of that.
It was great. Yeah, but I got to the end of the session. I said, "Okay, I'll see you guys again in 2 weeks." And they went, "What?" I went, "Yeah, it's bi-weekly." And they go, "Okay, what group do we have to fist fight so we can play next week?" And I was like, "I mean, you guys are all level 1." They're like, "No. Like in person, like we will meet them at a Denny's parking lot and fight them for their session spot."
They ain't getting ours. I'll tell them that much. It is gonna kill me to play bi-weekly. It is gonna be. Oh, I'll hate it, but I'll love it because it hopefully means we can fill the time with other D&D. Loads gun, points it at Vinny. He ain't getting. I messaged him today, Payneless. I said, "When we play in your campaign," he said, "That's a good question, bitch. That's not an answer."
This guy.
We won't let him go. But no,
yeah. I'm just glad I got done with the session, their group session. I said, okay, finally, like I feel like I've actually like kicked this campaign off because like god damn, I was cooking it for what 9 months almost, basically, like between like the time that I told you guys about it and when we finally got to start playing.
Yeah, you had the one shots.
Like, man, like once I kick it off, then it's like it's a lot easier to manage and like keep it flowing. But like, man, just getting to that starting point is just. Whew. Getting everybody aligned, like you guys, it's pretty much just Tungy I'm waiting on, and then Dylan's backstory. For group 1, who plays on Saturday, I have 2 characters done.
This sounds about right. Oh boy.
Like guys, I know that like you guys don't need to have your character ready until the session starts, but in order for me to like make any of the connections for your characters, I need to have it before that session. Like I can't just cook it in 15 minutes, guys.
No, you could.
They're like, we want to test. They're gonna test you, Payneless. They're the group that's gonna push you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is Josh one of the ones who has his character done?
Josh is done. He's got like his backstory is like color coded. Like he's got picture art customized. He's got lore. He already tied in with another group's character.
We trained him
like
well.
His character and Ishan's character are tied together.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah. So.
Dylan, are you gonna go solo? Do you think you're gonna have loose connections? Is that how you're feeling? Wizwag, yeah.
Wizwag.
What's he gonna be like?
No,
connections.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot, but I right now I think my backstory's like done. I'm just gonna do like the organizing part.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I got a lot of connections. I got a lot of points. I have a section right now that's just plot points. I have stuff.
I think I've got Marcus's backstory and his magic item and his. I don't think I gave him his 9 info yet. I have Vinny's 9 info, his background, and his magic item done. Nothing for Dylan yet. I have all your stuff is done. And then I have Nervash's, all his stuff is done.
Yeah.
And then I have nothing for Tungy yet.
Exciting. Well, Jake, thanks for coming up. Thanks for doing this. It was fun to get some of the questions answered, to get some of the just talk about it. Put a nice little bow on it so Dylan can stop complaining every Thursday about how much he misses it. Thankfully, he'll be playing a different fucking campaign so he can stop. By next Thursday he will be actively in another campaign. Why do you do this?
Yep.
But yeah, we'll wrap it there, and then I'll fucking go leave. So if you guys want to do stuff for him, you can knock it out of the park.
Yeah, do you need anything?